Hey, what's going on everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Star Wars Coffee, where in today's episode, we're going to be talking about the Force Dyad and what it is. That's today here on Star Wars Coffee.
I have spoken.
Hello there to all of the returning subscribers, but if you're new to the channel and you're just finding me for the first time, be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button on this video and any other video from the channel that you check out, and be sure to hit that notification bell so that the bell is completely filled in, as this is the way you will never miss a new video the second it goes live.
Do it!
Before we go any further, I do want to throw out just a little bit of a spoiler warning here for The Rise of Skywalker. We're going to be looking at some things that are going to give away some potential spoilers for the film. Not necessarily huge plot points, but enough for me to give you a spoiler warning. So consider this your spoiler warning. Alright, so The Rise of Skywalker opens with this idea of a Force Dyad concept. And originally, before all of the reshoots, it was rumored to be even more of a front and center type of plot device, but eventually was kind of pushed to the back. And we still see that appear in Act 3. When Palpatine is talking about the Dyad and the Force when he realizes that he can rejuvenate himself through it. And so we're going to talk about what this is exactly. And a good tool to help understand what this is the Rise of Skywalker Visual Dictionary. There is 3 mentions of Force Dyad in the Visual Dictionary on several pages. So I've clipped those out and we're going to take a look at what each of those say. So first of them is a description of Kylo's mind probe on Rey in The Force Awakens. So let's take a look at what that says. Quote, "In his mind probe of Rey, Kylo Ren feels an innate connection to the scavenger, unaware that they form a prophesized dyad in the Force. The connection bridges their minds." So you will remember in The Force Awakens the interrogation scene between Rey and Kylo Ren, where Kylo Ren is able to sift through what's in Rey's head and see it. And one of the things is, if you'll recall, that Rey thinks of an island and she's thinking of Ahch-To, and Kylo Ren can see that and he tells her, "I see the island." And so Kylo Ren knows right then and there where Luke is, and Rey has not yet been to Ahch-To yet. She didn't make it there till the end of the movie. So this is just already showing the fact that Kylo Ren's able to do this, is feeling that connection with Rey through this act that he's doing, but Rey still unaware that she is Force sensitive, in the sense that she can already see and kind of peer into what's in store for her, because she's going to end up on Ahch-To and that's where Luke is, and so she's already into that Force. So that's the first mention of the Force Dyad, is with that scene. So this is where that concept begins in the sequel trilogy. So while the Force concept of a dyad is new to The Rise of Skywalker in a sense, it was actually mentioned in the Clone Wars at one point, but it's for this trilogy, this is the first scene that it's actually in now, having all 3 films finished. Alright, second description of the dyad comes to us in the description for Rey's character. So it says, quote, "Rey's journey through the Force has been proven challenging. Her first awakening to the greater power that binds the galaxy together came from a vision sparked by contact with an old Jedi lightsaber, showing her images of pain and destruction. This stirring in the Force alerted Supreme Leader Snoke and Kylo Ren to her presence, making her a prime target in their bid to rule the galaxy. Snoke knew that Rey and Kylo Ren were linked through the Force, a prophesized dyad, connecting 2 individuals across space and time. Though this connection and her long isolation caused Rey first to sympathize with Kylo, his dark actions prompted her to withdraw." So what this is talking about is reinforcing the idea that Snoke, so it's kind of retconning a sense this concept of the Force Dyad through all 3 films, to kind of link them together and to give them a better story arc overall, to help connect all 3 films together. And so we're having this, it's giving us this idea that Kylo, Ren, and Rey continuing the dyad. Snoke was aware of it, and in a sense Snoke was aware of it because Snoke is Palpatine, so he knew that. And that's why he's then revealed as the big bad in The Rise of Skywalker, is because he knew about this and he wanted Rey to take over for him. And so what we have is the prophesized dyad connecting two individuals across space and time. And the words space and time there are important because the fact that Rey and Kylo Ren can literally connect across space and time, which we'll get to in a second, is no accident in the choice of words here. So the third mention of the dyad concept is on Old Sith Runes, and it says this: Old Sith Runes, carved in the Old Tongue, denotes the nature of the dyad, a pairing in the Force. Curiously, it is nearly identical to the text describing the rule of two, a Sith doctrine that there could only be two living Sith Lords, but inflection marks and line breaks change specific meaning in certain words. So obviously they're not going to give us any more than that. They're still going to leave it kind of ambiguous, and they don't want us to know exactly what it is because they're still fleshing this out. And I assume that there's going to be more Star Wars media, more Star Wars content that continues to mess with this idea of the Force dyad, and it'll explain it further better with a comic series, etc., something like that. But what's important to note is that it's similar to the rule of two with the Sith. The only reason they're throwing that in there is because Palpatine's in this movie. It really does not matter about the rule of two for the Sith. It simply just means that the more apt description comes with the linking Force users to individuals across space and time. The description for Rey gives the better dictionary definition for it. And the fact that the Old Sith Runes is just essentially saying that it's a prophecy and that it's happened, but it doesn't happen very often. So that's what that really means. And then if we continue to go farther, beyond the Star Wars Rise of Skywalker visual dictionary, you can go take a look at the Star Wars databank, which I did, and I took some digging there. And on Rey's backstory, you can continue to see this idea of the dyad continuing to be fleshed out. And they didn't know what they were going to do with it in the Rise of Skywalker, but the text of the way the databank is entered tells you that there was going to be some type of linking between the two like that. And that was clear and prevalent throughout The Force Awakens and especially The Last Jedi. So take a listen to some of Rey's databank entry. On Takodana, Skywalker's lightsaber called to Rey, who experienced a Force vision. She rejected this call to destiny, but was captured by the dark side warrior Kylo Ren, with whom she shared a strange connection. Kylo took Rey to Starkiller Base, where he tried to understand her rapidly growing powers. With Finn in peril, she escaped and took up Skywalker's lightsaber, and the quest to find the Jedi Master. Under Luke's tutelage, Rey learned to feel the Force around her and understand her connection to it. But her powers grew, her connection with Kylo Ren strengthened as well, and Rey became certain that their fates were somehow intertwined. When Luke refused to leave Ahch-To, Rey sought out Kylo, hoping he would turn from the dark side. They joined forces to defeat Supreme Leader Snoke, but Kylo tried to convince Rey to join him in creating a new galactic order. Disillusioned, Rey turned her back on Kylo, using her Force to save the Resistance on Crate. The databank entry hasn't been finished yet in the sense that there's nothing containing the Rise of Skywalker on there because that movie's still in theaters. So the databank isn't updated yet. But you can see all of these words: sharing a strange connection, wanting Kylo to turn, with whom she shared a strange connection, all of those things, knowing that they were somehow intertwined. The idea is there. The idea has been there. They've just finally given it a name. And it's that again, I go back to that two individuals across space and time is really what it is. And this is magnified even further with the Force bonds that Ryan did in The Last Jedi, where there is essentially this Force Skype where they can chat that way. And while they weren't able to actually affect the areas around them like they could in The Rise of Skywalker, they were still clearly able to see each other and see what they were doing. So the Force bonds in The Last Jedi continue to show the dyad concept being extremely strong, as that they were able to do that. Nobody else has been able to do that in Star Wars at this point. And then the Force bonds in The Rise of Skywalker, where we get the lightsabers from different locations that have real-world effects to wherever they are showing how strong the bond is as well. And they're able to have those clashes that way. And Kylo's able to rip the necklace off of Rey on Pisana to figure out where they are. So the fact that Kylo and Rey have this connection that's this strong is what this Force dyad is. It's this connection that intertwines two Force users, and it links them whether they like it or not, the light side and the dark side. And this is something that JJ understood better how the Force works than Ryan did in The Last Jedi. And its concept is what pulls this whole thing together, and what allows Palpatine to rejuvenate himself is the Force is a connection between the two of them that's so strong that Palpatine's able to rejuvenate the way he used to look through their connection. So without the other, he wouldn't have been able to suck the life out and rejuvenate himself the way he did. That's why he mentions it when he's doing that. And he says the Force Dyad that has yet to be seen in generations or something. I can't quote it offhand because I can't literally reference the movie because it's still in theaters. But that's the idea, and that's what it's referring to. So that is the basic understanding of what the Force Dyad is. Put it simply in its most simple terms, it is the connection that links two individuals across space and time. A prophesized dyad, similar to the rule of two if you want to think about it that way, I guess. So that there can only be two Force users who share this at a time. So, hopefully that helps you guys understand what this Force Dyad concept was, especially if you're more new to the Star Wars lore and the Star Wars deep dive into it, and hopefully that helped you out. So thank you guys for watching, may God bless you and the Force be with you. If you enjoyed this episode, and frankly, even if you didn't, don't forget to subscribe.
Do it.
And if you want to help spread the word, please give this video a thumbs up and tell your friends to subscribe. Please check out the official Star Wars Coffee merchandise, and don't forget to check out all of the content playlists on this channel, including The Rise of Skywalker, The Mandalorian, and much more.